improv helps this. To be able to risk, you don't know what's coming, you don't know what you're going to do, and you commit to a character and you commit to an idea and you take it and see where it goes. It's no different than when you sit down to write a scene and you're about to commit to writing a scene. You might know where it's supposed to go, kind of, but this is what really, when it's time to commit to writing it.
You're listening to Screenwriters Need to Hear This with Michael Jamin. Hey everyone, it's Michael Jamin. Welcome back to Screenwriters Need to Hear This. Today I got a very special guest that none of you deserve to hear. You're just not good enough. But if you do want to listen, pull over here. If you're listening in your car, pull over. You gotta, because this is a big shot in the TV world. So with my guest, I have Jay Kogen, and you got to know who this guy. This guy's been around the block. Okay, I believe he started on the Tracy Ullman Show. He wrote on The Simpsons, The Single Guy, The Wrong Guy. This was back when he told his agent he would only do guy shows, and everyone's like, this guy's out of his mind. Right. But then he did Frasier. George Lopez, you did the first. I was in the other George Lopez. You're the one. People think I wrote on Lopez. Not that Lopez. Malcolm in the Middle, and I'm leaving off half your credits. I'm just skimming through this. The Class, Happily Divorced, The Troop, Wendell and Vinny, Kirsty, which is where we worked together for 10 minutes because I was, for the freelance episode that we did, but that was only 10, honestly, that was a real fast interaction. Then Ned and Stacy, School of Rock, and then now you're doing, I guess, Oversharing and Renaissance. I want to talk more about that. And the new Punky Brewster. I don't know how that happened. I want to know more about that. But, okay, so my guest is Jay Kogen, and I got to say, I never told you this, Jay, but my first job was on Just Shoot Me, right? And so I was a young baby writer, and everyone on that staff. It was like Levitan and Andy Gordon, Kahn, and right. Stephen Engel, and you were one of these names that always came up. It was Jay Kogen said the funniest thing on Frasier. Jay Kogen did this. He came into the room. He did that, and you were honestly in my mind, you were like this mythical character, And even at the time, I was like, I don't know if it's Jay Kogen or Jake Hogan, and I don't want to ask because
no one does. No one knows. It's true. No one knows.
I was too embarrassed to ask.
I'm still mythical, by the way. Just so you know,
you're still.
I may or may not be real.
Right,
mythical.
Right. Mythical. Okay.
Now you said I'm mythical. I don't know. So you don't know whether I'm real or not. So
I don't know. I don't want to find out.
I don't know.
But we'll get to the bottom of this.
The people who are driving, who pulled over, thank you for pulling over. I appreciate it. I hope you're safe. Put your hazards on.
So Jay, I got a million questions for you, but I guess let's start with the beginning. Everyone wants to know, like, how did you break in to Hollywood?
Oh, it was a really rough ride, man. My dad was a writer-producer, and I asked him to introduce me to some of his friends.
Let's talk about your dad. So, like,
and I took it from there.
But he wrote on a bunch of shows, like Mary Tyler Moore Show. What else did you write on?
He wrote Mary Tyler Moore. I believe he wrote a MASH. He wrote a Newhart, and the Newhart Show, Bob Newhart Show, and Newhart. He wrote on the Carol Burnett Show, and the Dean Martin Show, and the Jim Davis Show, and the Donnie Marie Show, and he worked on Empty Nest, and he worked on a million shows, and wrote one shitty movie.
What movie was
Birds
that?
Do It. It's called a soupy sales movie called Birds Do It. And my father was telling me that he can't bear to watch it. He hasn't seen it since 1963.
Because it was rewritten? Because Soupy rewrote it?
No, he wrote it completely. No, it's his fault. He's saying it's horrible and it's his fault.
So you grew up around it. So I thought you were from Brooklyn, but you grew up out here.
I was born in Brooklyn, and my dad moved from Brooklyn. He was working on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, and he moved out from Brooklyn to come work on the Dean Martin Show in 1968.
Jesus.
And that was my first experience on a soundstage, was on the Dean Martin Show on a Christmas episode, and it said, this looks like a fun job. Little did I know that writing is not a fun job. Writing is a really unfun job.
People don't realize that. But what was it? So what was it like growing around it? Like, did you talk shop with? Did you? I don't know. Did you talk about scripts?
I was 5. My talking shop was going to be limited.
but even when you got older, like, did he tell you how to write a script?
No, I mean, here's the thing. You grew up in a family that I'm sure was a funny family. There's no question. If you're funny, you grew up in a funny family. My father,
my dad invented comedy. He told me he made it up.
Right. So my father and mother are funny, and if I try to make a joke at the table and get them to laugh, it was a great victory, right? So you'd hone
Right.
your skills to make people laugh at the dinner table or on the living room couch, and that's kind of your writer's room training, and that's how you sort of become the jokey guy in high school or junior high and become the jokey guy, So jokes were stock and trade in my house and my way to win my father's affection. So I tried to get good at it.
But you still had to learn story structure. You had to write a script.
Well, that sucked. It took me years to do that because I was done. I had like money, like most writers, we had jokes, but we didn't really understand story structure at all. We thought we knew it was funny, and we thought, oh, just put funny stuff down, and that'll be enough. And that is way wrong, but that's what I thought. And I wrote some spec scripts and handed them to my dad, and he said, this is terrible. Become a lawyer. He would say, do not try to become a writer. This is awful. I wrote with some successful writers today who I work with in school. Billy Ray, who's an Academy Award nominated writer, and Robbie Fox, and Wally Wolodarski, who became my partner at The Simpsons and Tracy Ullman Show. And we wrote all the time, and my father would read these scripts and go, these are terrible. Do not get into the business. And so eventually I started working on PAing on TV shows, getting people delivering scripts at 3 a.m. and getting people lunches. And if I got it wrong, they'd scream at me and all that kind of stuff. But I would sit in the writer's room and watch them work out stories and figure out how they did stories. So that process was really enlightening. And so my partner and Wally and I tried to write a script, and we wrote a script with It's Gary Shandling Show, and worked out one of their stories, which were always strange. And we did that. They kind of liked the script, but they didn't buy it. And then we wrote another one, and they didn't buy that. But then that became a sample that we got a job at the Tracy Ullman Show from, and that's how it worked. And at the Tracy Ullman Show, under Heidi Perlman and Jim Brooks and Sam Simon and Jerry Belson, I started to learn that drama had a big part in comedy. And so it wasn't just jokes, it was jokes and story and characters that you cared about and situations that had impact and stakes and all those kind of things that you know about when you're a kid, but you tend to ignore it and go like, it's what's funny. So
yeah, right. It's so funny because I talk about this all the time. I'm going to say you're going to confirm, I guess, hopefully, or maybe I'm just an old blowhard and I just sound like an old crank. But I have a feeling you're going to confirm a lot of stuff that I say because I'm always like, no, the story is the most important thing. Jokes, you can always interchange the jokes, and people don't quite understand that when you're.
You can be a blowhard and also be right. So those two things are not incongruous. But yes, I will. When I talk to writers, I say that the story is first, character is second, and jokes are third. That you need. The story is the hardest thing. Breaking a story in writing is the hardest thing. Breaking a story, re-breaking it, making it sure that it pops, making sure that we're not going down stupid roads. That's the hardest thing. Everything else, the jokes are the easiest thing, honestly, and they're the most replaceable thing. You don't like a joke, we'll cut it out and put a new joke in. Yeah, a character they're very important, but sometimes you write something and realize, I have two characters that are the exact same person. And I'm going to condense them into one person, or I have characters doing serving the same purpose in the story, and that's not a good idea. And so the story has to come first, and that's always the most difficult thing. I always recommend to all writers, outline your shit. Outline what you're going to do before you write. Show the outline to somebody. Get feedback on it before you waste your time writing a script on a story that's not going to work. So
that's exactly right. I want to bring this up because I don't want to forget this, but because my partner and I came in, we wrote, we did a freelance on the Kirsty Show, which we were on, and I have to say it was one of the most enjoyable experiences because it was like the last time. I want to hear your thoughts on this. It was the last time I really was in a writer's room full of writers who had more experience than me, because now it seems like I'm the old guy in the room. Now I'm the veteran guy. And I really enjoyed working. Don't you think?
Made that your brand. You're now, that's your brand. You're the experienced guy.
Yeah. But it was so much fun, because you get to hear other people's stories. You get to hear their wisdom. There's so many heavy hitters in that room,
Yeah, that was a fun room. I mean, I've had a lot of fun rooms. The rooms are still fun when I go and do them. So it's like, and I am I the oldest guy in the room now? Maybe, but I'm not sure.
Right.
Sometimes depends on the show, but I've certainly been around a long, a long time. So I'm going on. It'll be, 40 years soon. That's a long time.
Yeah, it is a long time.
Yeah.
So what do you, credit your longevity to? Like, how is it you're getting your last 3 jobs, basically?
Well, the same way I got my first 3 jobs. It's sort of like, praying, meeting the right people, saying the right thing, wandering into a stupid situation that you didn't know about, and suddenly they have a job. Like, it's so not organized, and so like, there are these jobs, and you should, you're going to audition for these jobs, and this is how it's a much more haphazard. There's a show here, and they may need somebody, and you should be developing something here, and you have a million irons in the fire, and we'll see what happens.
Right, so you're constantly hustling. So it's not like your agent's just setting this up. Hey, they want to hire someone that you fit the bill, right? I mean, it's not as easy as that.
No, that rarely happens, and sometimes it does. But I mean, honestly, demographically, I'm not the key kind of person that they're looking for right now. And there's a million reasons for that. I mean, we should talk about that that there's a need. There has been a desperate need to make the playing field equal to all people from all different backgrounds. And for many, many years, sort of Jewy white guys had a preference. So we're now the guy like me, Brooklyn Encino Jewish guy, we're a dime a dozen. There's a lot of us, and then there's brand new writers coming from different areas of experience and worlds and different backgrounds, and more women and more people of LGBTQ and more BIPOC people, and they all need a chance, and they're sort of starting to get a chance, and that means there's less room for people like you and me, and there's shorter pickups, and there's smaller rooms, and so it's just become a lot harder.
It's a lot more hustle. And so you're also developing. How are you going about developing? Are you is it your own ideas, or what are you doing?
Some are my own ideas. Some are ideas that I have with other people that I meet, and I think, oh, that's a good idea. Let's see if I can fix that. There's a pilot we're working on called Oversharing that's based on a play that I saw at UCB about a year and a half ago. And so we took the characters and the lifestyle of the characters in the play. The actors were also the writers. So I went work with these 2 women in their late 20s about what it means to be.
So you approach them. You approach them. You say, "Hey, I want to develop your show."
Yes, with the help of Naomi Odenkirk, who is a manager who's not my manager, but had called me had seen this, and I wanted to work with her, and she said, "This is a good thing." So she matched me with these people, and we've been working on this together for a while, and now we're we wrote a pilot, and we're sort of seeing where it goes.
So so that's interesting, because sometimes people that you write the pilot first, you go out with a pitch, but you decided to write it first.
Well, here's the thing: we had a couple different things going on. The writers who were the actresses who did this didn't have writing samples, but they wanted to be part of the show. So to prove that they are able to write, they wrote. So it's also so this is their first episode, and they'd like to be in it too, but maybe we'll sell it without them in it. But this is to proof of concept. Like, here's this thing, we may not use it to sell the show, but we may. So we'll see.
And you kind of just oversaw it. You didn't help with the writing. You kind of directed them a little bit, or no?
Well, we pitched out the story together. I taught them kind of how the story structure is going to work, and bring their play into a series. That whole transfer from series I guess I would get a developed by credit, something like
Right.
that.
Right.
But I didn't write the script. I helped rewrite the script, but I was
Right.
involved heavily in the creation of it. So, I mean,
Right.
my goal in this kind of thing is not to put my stamp on it. My goal is to take their world, their idea, and bring it to life. And so the
That's
second
exactly
I'm
right.
sort of putting my, 50-year-old guy brand on their 20-something life, it's going to get ruined.
Yeah.
So I
Right.
just have to sit back and sort of like appreciate the world they're creating, and then give my input here or there about maybe steering in certain directions, or maybe this is what makes a funnier story, and reminding them what their goal was and who their characters were. Sometimes you lose that track of that.
So how do you feel? How do you feel like young writers have changed now? How are they different now than then? In attitude and preparedness and everything.
So much dumber.
So much dumber.
God. What are they're the same. I honestly feel like they're exactly the same. Here's what's different. The writers' rooms are different.
Yeah.
What we're allowed to say and how we're allowed to behave is different.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's better or worse. It's just different. I mean, in the old days, we could make fun of each other
Yeah.
and have I was famous for doing room jokes. I did a lot of jokes in a writer's room.
Right.
Sometimes people would say things and I would die. Sometimes people would say things and I would run out of the room so that you could see me in the window and just keep on running. And if my car was in the visual aspect of the window, I would get in my car and drive away. I would do a lot of jokes. I would get, physically ill at something that, if I heard two people were kissing or something, like I would do jokes. All of which was based on the idea that they know I'm joking.
Yeah.
So I could make a joke about somebody who knew I was joking.
Right.
I could make a joke about them or what they were wearing that day, and they knew that I love them.
Yeah.
And I'm joking.
Right.
That's not okay anymore. You cannot depend on people to understand your intention or even give a shit about your intention.
Right.
If there's a joke at their expense, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
So you don't joke about stuff anymore at anyone else's expense. We don't joke about their background. We don't joke about where they're from or anything about their lives. We keep it nice and businesslike.
Yeah.
And then we just try to do the work.
Yeah.
So writers' rooms have become ultimately for me a lot less fun.
Yeah.
And a lot more I want to make a joke and I'm like, I can't do it because I don't want to offend people, but I also don't want to get in trouble. And I think younger people can be offended. I'm working with some college kids now. I was teaching a class at USC, and as a college professor, you have to really be on your you're not, this is not a writer's room. This is a school.
Yeah.
So, but the writing students I'm working with all seem like they're making jokes all the time about all things. So they're more like I was when I was a young person, but I'm not making those jokes because I'm a professor. So I'm going to stay out of the realm of anything close to offensive or dirty or strange or any of that.
That's interesting. I didn't
But
know
they're
you were
the
teaching.
same. They just want to make jokes.
I didn't know you were teaching at USC. How long have you been doing that?
A half a minute.
Oh.
I had John Bowman, the writer John Bowman, was a friend of mine, and he was teaching a sketch writing class, and he unexpectedly died.
Right.
Which is good because when you expect to die, that's
It's
the
even
worst.
worse. Yeah.
But so then they asked me to step in to fulfill the class that he was teaching.
Right.
So I started doing that.
Right. Wow. And I also know I didn't realize, but you're also do improv.
Oh yeah. I've been doing it for my whole life. I started at the ground when I started in show business. My goal was to not be a writer. My goal was because writing seemed. I watched my dad. Writing is lonely. It's quiet. It's intensive. Mm-hmm. It seemed hard. I like working with people. I like having jokes, having a good time. So I started being an actor and a stand-up comedian. And then when I was 16, when I was a kid, I was an actor. When I was 16, I was still trying to be an actor and doing stand-up. And then I transitioned over to the Groundlings, which was a much better atmosphere to be part of than the Improv or the Comedy Store, and I
Right.
sort of figured out what character and story was based on that. That helped a lot, by the way. I do recommend that if you're a writer, to take acting courses and take improv courses, because you'll learn a shit ton of what you need to know about being a writer. The other thing you need to do is take editing courses. If you can take a course in editing movies or editing TV shows, you'll learn what's important to keep in your script and what's not important to keep in your script. I
Right.
didn't know a thing until I started editing.
Do you have? But
anyway,
is there any goal? Like, is there a goal for you for? Or are you just like getting up there and performing? Is there an you know?
what do you mean?
Like, is there an end to it? Do you want to?
I'm hoping people throw roses at me. That's my goal.
But do you want? I don't know. Do you want to turn it into something, or do you just enjoy the process of getting up there and performing?
It's improv is a cultish comedy religion. So you do it because you learn the skill. It's like if I was a glass blower and suddenly I learned how to make little glass animals when I was 16, and I still know how to do it and I like it. So I'm doing improv. The goal is to stay loose,
Right.
keep your mind fresh. It helps. Improv helps this to be able to risk. You don't know what's coming. You don't know what you're going to do, and you commit to a character and you commit to an idea, and you take it and see where it goes. It's no different than when you sit down to write a scene, and you're about to commit to writing a scene. You might know where it's supposed to go, kind of, but this is what really when it's time to commit to writing it, and it's a blank piece of paper, and you have to be the character who says this other thing, and then turn your mind to the other character that says this thing, and what are they thinking, and how are they acting, and how are you being, and what does the scene look like, and how do you fill the space with physicality, and all the
Right.
things. These are the things that you learn from improv,
Right.
and these are the things I still love doing it because it keeps me fresh and reminds me of that it's fun to create.
And how often do you go up?
The group that I'm working with now, the Transformers, we go up about once a month,
Right.
and then I'm also an improv whore, and I will appear with any other improv group that asks me. Usually, the Groundlings has a show called Crazy Uncle Joe, and I do that sometimes, or Cooking with Gas, or sometimes I guest with another group. So it's just fun to work with different people.
When you do that though, do you practice? I mean, I know it's improv, but is there any kind of rehearsal with these people, or you're up there for the first time with these people you don't even know?
Here's again, it's something you've learned. So you started by taking courses and saying, okay, this is how you do it. You agree, you pretend that stand up there and pretend that you're a bumblebee.
Right.
Okay. What would a bumblebee do? Bumblebee might go from flower to flower. A bumblebee might pollinate. You just put your mind into the thing. So you slowly work up from the beginnings of improv, which is just agreeing. Then you're in a scene with another bumblebee. And now you have to figure out what does one bumblebee want and what does the other bumblebee want in the scene.
Right.
It's a skill you develop to listen to what other people are saying, agree with it, add information, have an attitude, have a goal, and don't talk over each other, and
Right.
physicalize the scene. These are things that you learn how to do over time, and if you get good at it, you can do it forever.
Hey, it's Michael Jamin. If you like my videos and you want me to email them to you for free, join my watch list. Every Friday, I send out my top 3 videos. These are for writers, actors, creative types. You can unsubscribe whenever you want. I'm not going to spam you, and it's absolutely free. Just go to michaeljamin.com/watchlist. All right, so you were working, so you knew Tom Maxwell, and you're going to tell that story.
All right, so so Tom was the director of the Groundlings when I was there, and he had a very distinctive laugh, and a very distinctive kind of southern. It's from one of the Carolinas. I forget which one.
Yeah, I think it was North. Yeah,
North
I think
Carolina, and he was it was a great audience, audience. He loved the laugh. Was wonderful to have, and he's the guy I interviewed with to get into the Groundlings, to start working at the school. And then I worked starting at 16. I started doing the school and didn't get into the Groundlings till I was 18.
Oh, interesting. Wow. So you did the whole training there. And wow.
Yeah, and it was good training.
I'm sure it was. I actually took a. So Tom was a writer. I think season three of Just Shoot Me, and then he went up co-running it in the later years. And I remember he came in like the first day. This is how important improv is. It's like the first day we're breaking a story, and I guess he was just showing off, and he just starts acting out the scene and doing all the characters. And I was like, look at this guy go. And we were all just staring. And the writer says, we're all just staring. And I shoot the writer says, I was like, dude, what are you doing? Start typing, because everything he's saying is going into the script.
Well, I've seen a lot of writers do that. James L. Brooks is able to do that. You just pitch out a scene from top to bottom. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm not downgrading it. It's amazing when people can do that. But yeah, when we were at The Simpsons, we would pitch in character. People would pitch as Homer, pitch as Marge. We used the voice.
Yep.
And we were that. So it trains you to sort of pitch a joke.
Yeah.
And risk having everyone hate it.
Yeah.
by being improv.
Yeah. But it's also, when you pitch a joke and it bombs, at least then you improv a funny a funny backup to it.
Yeah, you can yes, you can save yourself by acknowledging the bomb or not acknowledging it. It depends on how late it is. Sometimes there's just silence.
Right.
It's just like, let's move on. Let's go past it.
Tom used to get very cranky at around 8 p.m. He's like, it's my bedtime. You got to work till midnight or whatever.
Yeah. Some people can't do the late nights.
Yeah. Well, so how do you go about, even other than working with these other actors, how do you go about developing shows? Do you have a process? What do you think?
Well, anything that inspires you, and then you sort of check it out with your people and say, is there a show like this already in development? Or, do we think that we can attach good people to this thing? So, you have to figure out how to position it. You have an idea, then how do you position it? Who's it for? Can you create auspices to join forces with you to make it a more powerful sale? When's the right time to sell it? All those kind of things go into the mix of that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And then, so what do you usually try to team up with the producer? Is that what
Right. Like this oversharing project is now with Sharon Horgan's company called Merman. And so, so they especially like women's stories, and this is a women's story, and it's sort of like, it's a good company when you're dealing with sort of the story of women in their late 20s in the sort of dismal landscape of what life is like for them.
Right. That's so interesting. Yeah. And so, what was I going to say about that?
I have a show that I'm writing with, that I'm helping some newer African-American writers with, and we're, trying to get Kenya Barris to sign on to be part of this thing. So he's a good auspices for that.
Yeah.
And then I have, a show about Jewish boys from Encino, and Mel Brooks would. No, I'm just totally joking about.
That'd be great. Yeah, I worked with him. I worked with him on Glenn Martin. We brought him in. I was like, damn, I'm directing Mel Brooks. It was very intimidating.
Yeah, Mel's not intimidating. He just won't shut up. But
but it was still like, I'm giving him directions. Like, who am I to be telling Mel Brooks how to play the line?
Well, if he didn't like your directions, he'd tell you.
I
don't want to do that. I'm going to walk over here, and I'm going to.
Yeah, there was definitely the case. I remember like telling him, asking him to get it again. He goes, no, you got it the first time. I'm like, sounds good to me.
We worked with him on the Tracy Ullman show, and he had a million ideas about what he wanted his character to do, and we were just like, okay, go for it.
You're Mel Brooks. Wow. Well, and so I had a thought.
But to go back to your original question, how do you develop something? Carl Reiner, the great Carl Reiner, speaking about Brooks, gave me advice, and he said, figure out the hill you're standing on that only you, the vantage point that only you have, and make a show about that. So
interesting.
Make it about your world or your point of view or something that's really on your mind that only you can see, and that was his advice, and I thought that was good advice.
And we hear that a lot. It's like, why are you the only people to write this show? And then you got to think of a reason.
You have to lie and say, well,
Yeah.
this happened to me, or this is my
Yeah.
thing. But obviously, when you're a writer, you're bringing something that's personal to you. You don't have to have experienced the thing to have experienced the emotion that the thing is connected to. Sometimes the show is about love, or sometimes the show is about abandonment, or sometimes the show
Mhm.
is about lack of credibility, or the show is about ego. And
Mhm.
the specifics of the show are not necessarily the specifics of your life, but there's something that you're very aware of and something that's meaningful to you. And if it's meaningful to you, then it's going to have a resonance that's going to count. And that's what I try to do when I write something. It's because I relate to it and I feel it, and I feel that there's a truth in it.
Right. These are all good words. And how did you? Let's say a show like the remake for Punky Brewster. Like, how did you get involved in that? I'm always wondering how
Well,
that
my
happens.
my friends Steve and Jim Armagida had created it and produced it, and I'd worked with them on a show called School of Rock, and they
Right.
hired me to help them. I mean,
Right.
that was it. A friend's, I was not a, I didn't know anything about Punky Brewster, hadn't watched it, didn't
Oh, I did.
know much about it,
Uh-huh.
but I got to know about it, and so
Right.
then we tried to make it. It had been in development for many years. Universal was trying to sort of use their own properties and make something of it, and so that's what happened. It sort of came together over the course of like 5 years.
Wow. See, that takes how long? That's how long it takes.
Yeah.
And she, and people, I get this question a lot. I don't really have a good answer for it. But do you have a preference to do single camera, multi-camera, or animation?
uh well, I think it's harder to sell a single camera show. Every network says they want to buy a single camera show, but then they don't. They always buy I mean, excuse me, every network wants to says they want to buy a multi-camera show
Right.
because it's cheaper, but they always want to buying single camera shows because they're cooler. And
Yeah.
so I'd rather sell the show that gets made. And
Right.
so right now I'm interested in selling single camera shows. However, I love multicam. I do like the process. I know it, but I don't watch many multicam shows going like, oh, that's great TV. I think the single camera shows are better because they're more like movies. You don't
Right.
have to you don't have to lean on jokes quite so much.
Hmm.
It's more about the story. You can tell it filmically, and because there's no laugh track, so it's just what's funny is there, and it's different experience. I don't
Have you?
know when the multicam, if it will ever pop back as a main force, but we'll see.
It'd be nice. Have you? I didn't even look. Have you done any directing?
Oh yeah, I love directing.
Oh, you
I
do.
would I would
Okay.
give it I would give it up to just direct.
Really? What? Uh, you like it that much? What? A lot of guys. A lot of guys have given it up to direct. Why do you like that more than writing?
It's collaborative.
Uh-huh.
I'm not alone in a room. I have material. Sometimes I've written the material, so I know the intention. But I like working with cameras. I like working with the actors. I'm an actor. I'm an old
Right.
actor, so I like acting and I like actors and I like working with them and sort of figuring out the big picture and figuring out making sure that all the pieces in the editing room are there, having edited many shows now, knowing, okay, we need this
Mm-hmm.
reaction and that reaction, and this is the joke. This joke needs to be close, or
Mm-hmm.
this joke needs to be wide, or let's have a choice.
Yeah.
Those kind of things are great. And when I've directed, film, single camera film action things, they've been great. I love using the camera. I love using stunts. I love using, and anything that I can envision. I love storyboarding stuff and sort of making them happen. It's
Who do you feel you've learned the most from? Like, what directors have taught you the most?
uh Hitchcock. I mean,
Sitcom guys, I'd say.
I mean, they're all great. I've learned from every single director we've worked from. I've been lucky enough to work with Jim Burrows, and I've been lucky enough to
Mm-hmm.
work with, uh, you know, I mean, there's Victor Gonzalez, and I've been working just all these directors who know what they're doing. There's a guy named Jonathan Judge who I work with who really just knows what he's doing. He knows the feeling. He knows how to keep the set alive and people happy. And there's a lot to do when you're a director. And when you're a TV director, you're really trying to fulfill the vision of the producers, which is great. And when I direct, even on shows that I'm executive producing, I'm asking my other writers, like, do I have it? Are you good? Are we satisfied? I'm not just saying like, I got it. And I want everybody's opinion. I want to change things if people don't have it, because we're only here on the set this moment. I want to get everything we need to get. And I like being collaborative, and I like hearing notes. Unlike when I'm a writer, when I don't want to hear notes. As a director, I love hearing notes.
Interesting.
I love adjusting. Can we get to that? Yes, absolutely. Let's go for it.
It's so funny you say that. Yeah, the writers don't like hearing that. I'm the same way. I don't want to hear your notes. Yeah, that's hard.
I thought about it. I gave you the thing that I liked, and now you don't know whether it's going to work, and neither do I. But let's go with my way. That's the general feeling. Yeah,
and how do you mostly handle studio notes or network notes? How do you, when you turn in a draft from a pilot or whatever? Like, what's your first instinct?
My first instinct is to tell them to fuck off. But I hold that instinct, and instead I say, well, that's a good note, or I put them into three piles: notes that are good notes, and sometimes I get really good notes; notes that are neutral notes, that are just like, you want to go that way versus this way, and they're kind of the same, but all right, and notes that are show ruining. So the only notes I will fight about are the show ruining notes. Everything else I will say thank you and what a great idea, and I really appreciate it, and I will, because I want to be collaborative, and I want to take it. If they think a green couch is better than a blue couch, then if we can get a green couch, let's get a green couch.
Yeah,
that's fine.
We call those lateral notes. This note will move the script 3 feet to the right. It's going to take. I'm going to be up all night doing it, and all right, I'll do it.
Right, and just do it because they need it and they want it, and it doesn't hurt the show. The ones that hurt the show, you got to say, now, tell me about that, because I think that thread that you're pulling ruins the show. And so let's talk about the thing about it. Like if it's a story about somebody adopting a dog, and then the dog ruins their life, and they say something along the lines of, yeah, but maybe the dog is nice. And you go like, well, if the dog is nice, then there's no show, because then we don't have the conflict that's at the core of this particular thing. So we're just throwing out the whole show based on that. And as well, why do you want the dog nicer? Well, it's too mean in this thing. So we can then distill moments where they think, okay, they're not having fun watching the dog do X, Y, and Z. Let's change those things to be things that are more fun for the executives or other people to watch. Then we can save the show, but not do the show ruining note.
Right. Because often you'll get notes from people who are kind of don't have much experience in the business, and they just have this job. They're giving you notes, and you don't want to hurt their feelings, but they don't know how to do it yet, So it's a delicate dance.
And also they're not idiots. People, the network executives, every writer likes to think a network executive, they're all idiots. They're not. They are you. They have decided to do this other thing, but they could have been writers, and they might have been writers in another life. And the reason they went into it is because they like TV and they like stories and they have an opinion. So embrace them as your partners.
That's right.
Try to make them your partners so that you have a happier existence with everyone.
We both worked with Steve Baldakowski, and I was surprised to learn that he was an executive for many years. I was like, what? I felt like, you've been a spy all these years?
I didn't know that, but I'm not shocked. He has the demeanor of an executive. No, I would 100% believe him in a nice sweater coming into work as an executive. Great.
Yeah,
I get that.
I was shocked. But he told me he thought it was his opinion that all executives really just wanted to be writers.
I think he's right. That all they do, and when they give a note, they're saying, hey, what if this is a great idea? They're hoping that you receive their note. It's like, oh, what a great idea. Thank you for helping me write the show. And so I actually try to receive those notes that way as much as I can. Right.
It's kind of like you're also building an ally. It's like the more people you can think it's their show, then they're going to help keep it on the air and stuff.
But not think it's their show. It is their show. They're the people who are shepherding it through the network. They're the people. It is their show. It's not like, it's not us and them. We are them. They're the same people. We have to be a team in order to survive. It's such a weird ass landscape of like getting a show on the air and having anybody know it exists and having people see it. So you have to get their publicity people involved, and the network has to like it and put it in a good time slot and care about it. And it's so easy to get lost. You have to take care of your show. You have to really do a good job of bringing it through and get as many allies as you can.
Right. And how do you recommend young writers basically break in now? I mean, because the landscape is so different now. What do you tell people?
It's the same. Write something great. Keep writing something until it's great. Then show that thing to everybody you can. It hasn't changed. Nobody wants to be a salesman when they become a writer. But unfortunately, part of being a writer is being a salesman. And so you have to then suck it up and call people and in a friendly way and get them to read your script. Obviously, you call and say, I love your work, and will you do me this favor of reading my script? And I would love your notes. Nobody wants your notes. They only want you to say, it's the greatest thing in the world, and I love you, and I want to hire you. But show your script. Sometimes you'll get notes, and sometimes you'll get compliments, and sometimes they'll say, this is terrible, and then start again. And, you have to really work hard to get through it. Plus, meeting people and expanding your social circle is really important. So finding a way to join groups and be part of schools, or not schools exactly, but be part of the
communities,
professional groups and communities, and find your way to expand that way.
So you told people basically to come out to Hollywood too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you're going to do that from Des Moines. I mean, you got
Hollywood's not coming to you. Yeah.
Right. Although if you live in Atlanta, there's if you live in places where they're making TV shows, it's possible. So,
but they're still mostly doing the writing out here, aren't they? And
but you can there's lots of production, lots of people, and you can meet people, and I don't know. It depends on where you're at. It's not. There's a few places where production. You can live in New York City, you can live in Atlanta, you might be able to Toronto and Vancouver. There are places where a lot of shows are being made. So maybe there, but LA is still the place to come, even though it's not it's a hard place to move to. It's expensive and weird and isolating, and there's a lot of bad parts about it.
Yeah. So interesting. It's so great to get your take, because I don't know, you're kind of saying so many things that I've said, but it's good to hear different.
Isn't it great to hear somebody confirm all your ideas?
I'm not crazy.
Everything you've ever believed. Yeah.
Well, I have such strong opinions on my, when I'm talking to people, and I'm like, well, I could just be stubborn, but this is how I see it. But yeah, it's interesting to hear your take.
It is new, and you got to write something new, and if you can get attention to something, if you can put up a show or make find a way to get attention to your project, do YouTube, short films, make something, on the TikTok, and find a way to sort of be available and get your stuff out there. Then you have a shot. But it's hard. I mean, it's hard once you have a show on the air. Your old boss Levitan has a show called Reboot that's on Hulu, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know who watches it, because who knows it exists. Like, it's probably like they have great cast and an esteemed writing team making it, and it will come, and it will, unless people hear about it, nobody will know.
Yeah. It's and one thing I also want to stress for new writers is we're struggling too. Like, we're hustling too. None of it's easy. None of it's guaranteed. It's we're working it to. I always say you got to work to break in. Well, but it's too hard. Yeah, don't tell me it's too hard. I know. I do it every day.
It is a struggle, and you sort of want gigs come and possible gigs come, and then they go, and then they don't happen, and it's hard to get in the rooms and it's all that kind of stuff. And when you're running a show, which I recently, I had a show that I was getting a writing staff for. I had a million phone calls from a million people saying, "Hey, you got room?" And I had to tell a million of them no.
Right.
Great people, really
Yeah.
great people that I had to say no to because and so when they say no to me, I understand why. It's not the makeup of the room that's going to make the studio happy. They have to make up a room that's going to make the
Hmm.
studio happy, and there's only a limited amount of spaces for people like me,
Yep.
and there's a lot of us who need jobs. So
Yep.
it's an interesting time for that.
So, is there anything else? Is there anything we can plug with you? How can people follow you? I'm so grateful that you did this talk. You're so
Uh,
interesting.
my plug. I'm at Jake Hogan at Twitter and Jake Hogan at Facebook and Jake Hogan at Instagram, and I have a TikTok account, but I don't post anything there.
You don't know how to use it.
I don't know how to use it, and I'm not interested in making little TikToks.
I think you should do
What if I
it.
did a TikTok dance?
I think you should do it. Yeah, get on a trending sound.
Right. But I do every Friday. We do something on my Twitter feed called Philosophy Friday. So on Fridays around 4:30, I have a bunch of people. We use the
I gotta, I gotta follow you on that. I didn't know that. What's that about?
well, we just talk about life and love and fear and how to overcome the difficulties of the world. Usually, I post a question for the week, and we can talk about that. But people can also come and just talk about their problems. Now, Twitter is famously the most vicious and horrible of all the social medias. So, my idea was, why can't we have like a little window of people who are actually nice to each other and care about each other and try to help
Uh-huh.
each other on this platform of shit? And so that's what I've done, and I'm almost 3 years into this, and
I didn't know that.
it's been fun.
Wow. All right. So that's how people can get in touch with you. That's really cool. I got now. I'm gonna be following you on that. Interesting.
And then if you follow me on my social medias, you can see my improv shows when I do them, and
Yep.
you can also follow all your followers should listen to Charlie Kogen, who's my son, who's a musician, and he just released a new record. And I want everybody to hear it on
For sure.
or Apple Music or Amazon or wherever it is. Charlie Kogen, Kogen.
Excellent.
Jake, not Jake Ogan. It's Jake Kogen, and it's Charlie
Right.
Kogen. So yeah.
I'm glad you cleared that up because I was too embarrassed to ask. And what kind of music does he do?
It's mostly zither music, and
What is that?
it's just pop.
Oh,
Pop is
oh,
zither is a terrible, strange instrument. No,
oh.
it's just it's pop music. It's really great
uh,
pop music. I don't know if you like. Do you like Ed Sheeran?
Yeah,
It'd be
interesting. So,
something like that, but not.
and so he doesn't want to go into comedy writing.
He might. He's really
He
funny,
might.
and
Right.
we've worked on stuff together. But he's really talented musician, and he's sort of honed his skills as a music songwriter, singer, music
Uh-huh.
producer, and those are he's like ready to go on that level. He's
Good
not
for him.
ready to go as a comedy writer yet, but he could be.
Right.
He's in
Wow.
college right now. He's studying, so we don't really his singles come out intermittently, but he's at college.
Oh, good. Well, let's make him happen. Go listen to him on Spotify.
Charlie Kogen. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Jay, thank you again so much. This was good for me to hear. I don't know if anybody else heard it, but I like
It was
hearing
great
it.
to hang with you. I'd heard a lot about you, so this is, and I've seen your videos on the TikToks and
yeah, isn't that weird?
Instagrams, and that's been amazing. How do you market you? How did you decide to sort of do this stuff?
I'll tell you after we get off the air. But basically, I was telling my manager, I had a call with him the other day, and I was telling him what I was doing. He goes, on TikTok, he goes, "Oh, I know. People forward me your videos." They go, "Have you heard of this guy?" I was like, "Yeah, it's my client." But yeah. Well,
But it's interesting, and I think it provides a valuable service. But it seems like it would be a little bit of a time suck, but also just
mhm.
there's value on the other side of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll talk more about it. But thank you so much, everyone. go follow Jay Kogen and his son.
And ask me questions. You can reach me at any of these places, and I'll answer your questions for free, just like Michael does.
How do you like that?
Michael does.
I'm going to start it.
And I'll agree. And I'll agree with him on everything he says.
Please, I need it. All right. Until next time. Thank you so much. And thank you so much.
This has been an episode of Screenwriters Need to Hear This with Michael Jamin. If you'd like to support this podcast, please consider subscribing, leaving a review, and sharing this podcast with someone who needs to hear today's subject. For free daily screenwriting tips, follow Michael on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Michael Jamin Writer. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Phil A. Hudson. This episode was produced by Phil Hudson and edited by Dallas Crane. Until next time, keep writing.